Good morning, everyone. Source Codex here, aka Jazz Fusion Guy, and I wanted to give you a heads up on something I've started up again after 10 years of letting it lay fallow. Uh, Back 2009 to like 2012, I had a blog called The Generic Christian Mystic. Well, I've decided to reopen that blog, and I have a completely separate blog now called The Generic Christian Mystic Returns. If you're not interested in anything about Christianity, organic church, theology, evolution, creationism, if you don't care about any of that, then turn this video off. If you are curious about that in any way, my blog offers a unique view at from many angles, from personal experience, from study, and whatnot. Um, I throw out these ideas that are different. Maybe some people would say they're heretical. Um, but I like to throw out what I'm thinking about at the time. So this blog is here. It is the URL is that right there. HTTPS blah 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 generic Christian mystic dash dash returns dot blogspot.com. And since I started this blog up again on December 10th, and since then, in 6 days, I have 42 posts up. My most recent one is Young Earth Creationism's Achilles heel, Bad Theology. Now, there's a lot more different. I do have a lot on my post. A mind for the Holy One via the exchanged life. There is another one there. Let's see. They vary. The subjects vary. Here's one that's been getting a lot of hits. The inherent error in abiogenesis and macroevolution, a fly in the ointment. I've been debating and researching and writing articles and whatnot since 1974, looking at origins, the birth of the planet, the history of mankind, and I have a whole lot more to say on that subject, about ancient man, ancient structures that have been being found recently that uproot and overturn everything current archaeology and anthropology have outlined for us to believe. And I find the same thing in science goes on in theological realms. And that is what you're told to believe, what you're taught to believe. Many times, if you really research it, it's bogus. It doesn't have really any real foundation in fact. It is all theory, it's all conjecture. Like the idea of the fall, the curse upon the whole world because of the sin of Adam. If you're a Christian and you believe that there was a literal Adam and Eve, a literal Garden of Eden, The story goes that when Adam sinned, it changed everything in the whole world, and the whole creation is cursed because of his action. Well, friends, I can tell you that's an idea that was thought up by the early church fathers, people like Irenaeus, Origen, and Augustine, and it's just been accepted. The verses and passages that support this concept have been misinterpreted. Um, and in this post, I talk about the bad theology behind young earth creationism. And that is one thing they trot out is there cannot be death before the existence of Adam, because death came into the world because of Adam's sin. Well, that idea is just not correct when you really take a close look at the record we have. If you look at cellular evidence in our bodies, there is actually programmed cellular death that keeps us alive, keeps us healthy. Now, the Creator designed it that way. So death was a real thing. And if you bother to go to this blog of mine, you'll find out the evidence and the details and the proofs behind my alternate way of thinking. And many people out there think in this same alternate path. A lot of old earth creationists have similar ideas. Well, on this blog, there's art, there's music, discussion, there's poetry, there's science, there's theology, and anything that pops up. Like, I don't believe in organized religion at all. It's a creation of man. It's not based on anything in the scripture, but that's my feeling, and I discuss why that is even in question. I don't believe we should have churches. I don't believe we should have pastors. I don't believe we should have tithing, any of that. You know, these grand buildings you see, these fine architectural structures inside, the parking lot, the gymnasiums, and all that. None of that is a Bible based concept. It's just something men came up with. And I venture to say, when the Lord comes back and he sees all these fine structures, he's not going to say, well, how nice this all is. I think I could even use this in the new millennium. No, he's going to say, you know, all this money you guys spent on all this stuff? How many poor people did you feed? How many homeless people did you give a place to stay? How many people needing clothing did you give clothing? We have spent billions of dollars on church, Christianity related stuff, and have not spent nearly any of that on. Sorry about that. My screen went to sleep. We have not spent any of that which we could have spent on the people that need it. Well, I've blabbed enough for now. If you're interested in reading my blog, and I will probably be adding stuff to it every week, then come on down and check it out. If you don't give a rip about stuff like this and you just rather check out my music videos and my gear discussion videos, then have at it. All right, this is just a public service announcement on YouTube.